Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone who's here in many great numbers, which is great to see. Good evening to everyone online. It's good to see you all, and welcome to part 2 of RGSL 2024 elections. And today and tomorrow, as I said before, the future life of the RGSL students is in all of our hands. And again, we have a lot of things to get through, so let's get to brass tacks. And so the agenda for today is as follows. We'll have presentations by the candidates of administrative positions, so President, VP, and Secretary, plus Sports Committee. Again, voting is going to take place from tonight until 11 a.m. Friday. And again, so the results will be announced tomorrow at 12:45 at the official Christmas activity in the lobby. And so you have to be there. That goes for everyone and also especially the candidates. So yeah, we encourage you to be there. And yeah, so we'll be seeing presentations by the sports committee and the secretary position, and then we'll have a 15-minute break. And afterwards, we'll be looking at the presentations by the president and vice president. And yeah. Okay, so the same thing as tomorrow. Each candidate has 7 minutes to present, and that presentation is going to be followed by a 10-minute Q&A, which will be opened by the members of the current board and also perhaps members of the audience and from people who submitted their questions online. And once there will be 2 minutes left for each presentation, right here the candidate will see a red card appear, so you know we have 2 minutes left for your presentation. And order of the candidates will be decided by the Wheel of Fortune. We'll put it up on the screen. And again, for voting, yeah, so each student will receive a Google form. You have to put in your student number and your name and surname. Otherwise, the vote is not valid. And obviously, the voting is only for RGSL students. And yeah, so you can vote in each position for one person, or you can choose to vote for none of the above to show that you don't like either of the candidates or the single candidate. And when it comes to the single candidates, if that candidate does not get 51% of the votes, there has to be a re-election process. And yeah, I think we're ready to start. So I want to hear it from you. Put your hands together for the candidates who are presenting themselves today. So yeah, we're going to start with the sports committee, and let's pull up the wheel and let's see who goes first. All right, so the first one is Marcis, and let's find out who's the second one. Okay, and after Marcis, Reinis Orbaks will present. So Marcis.
Hi, my name is Mārts Pirspāns, and I'm a Law and Business Program Year 1 student, and I'm participating to get to the candidacy of Sports Committee. And as you can see, I'm spitting a ball there, basketball, and I like sports a lot. But, as one wise guy once told me in the start of this year, it was sports on spits, nekad nav šķirts. Do we have any international students here? So okay, basically, sports is sports. Spirits is alcohol. And they are never split up. It just rhymes better in Latvian. But yeah, those are the words I got inspired to, that the sports can be fun, and that I should try this out. So some of my hobbies. Cooking. I've been cooking since a very young age, as you can see. And here, once I had an egg, a single egg, with 2 yellow egg yolks within it. So you can call me a goddamn lucky guy. And here, I made an omelet with some fish sticks. It was awesome. I was cooking. I also know how to shred on the guitar. I started playing guitar in the quarantine. I'm self-taught. And since then, I've played in multiple balls, including Riga State Second Gymnasium, Agenskaln State Gymnasium, as well as Riga French Lyceum, as well as the Museum Museum. Basketball. So, the quality is not as good as I thought it would be, but there was a mini hoop here, but you can see it pretty good. But either way, sports have been around me since a very early age, and you can see in a chronological order, plus or minus, that I've been playing basketball throughout all of my life. And now, this is my team, Take a Sunyi, where I'm playing at. What am I made of? I'm made of leadership, networking skills, flexibility, passion for sports, of course, discipline, and proactive perspective. And if somebody has forgotten my name, it's Marty. It's right here. But yeah, that's me. Those are my skills. I'm good at team building, also from a very early age. As you can see, I'm the only one posing at the camera. That's because I made him, the cameraman, photograph me, because I'm a true leader. And everybody else is still working because they're afraid of me. Don't worry about it. I'm not scary. I'm always willing to help others. Yeah, those are 2 different seasons. This is autumn and this is winter. But you can't see the part of others. You can only see me. And the thing with that is, I made the person photograph me, just like in the picture before, because I'm a true leader, and I know how to communicate and build teams. Also, there's a cat. And talking about cats, I can run fast, and I am very strong. The cat was extremely fast, but it was easy. I caught it, because I'm very fast. But the thing is, the cat was massive. It was the size of me. I still picked it up. Easy game. I'm also very open-minded. The story behind this is that my uncle, he offered me an idea. He's going to dig me in. I was like, okay, sure. Then he left for like an hour. I had a lot of time to think with myself because I couldn't move. And that's why I joined here. I had a lot of time to think about this, that I wanted to go to the sports committee. I like travel as well. And those are the pictures I sent to my mom. But yeah, this summer I traveled to 8 countries. I liked it a lot. I participated in multiple projects where I had a chance to expertise my networking skills and just be around my nature, which was, in that case, traveling. Whoa, that's a blank slide you see here. But that's for a reason, because I was just talking about myself. But the thing with that is, I haven't talked about my goals, which I would try to accomplish whilst I'm a sports committee chairperson. And for a visualization, I'm going to show you these. So some of them include like a hike or a boat ride, which are one-time events. To make an all-around sports group chat, where somebody in a summertime or in the spring when it's warm outside just puts in like, does somebody want to go play basketball in some place and do you want to join? It doesn't have to be a lot of people. It's an open-minded group. Nobody's going to get kicked out after graduation or anything. People can join and just go play sports together. Mini Neon Golf Riga event, which is going to be a team bonding event if it happens after the results of this whole election process are going to be given out. And it's not that pricey, but main thing is I want to continue the ongoing traditions at RGSL, which are the Backyard Olympics. And from what I've heard, there's also a marathon. But I haven't been here throughout the whole year yet, but we'll see. Maybe there's more traditions we can add and continue later on. And another thing, why I am here. I want to encourage new people to join sports activities. In my definition, sports is not just about the physical abilities or physical tools or athleticism that a person has. It's about having fun, making new friends, trying out new things. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for your attention and discipline or motivation.
Okay, thank you, Martis. And now we have a time for a 10-minute Q&A for you, and we're going to start with the current members of the SA board.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm going to start off with a question. Imagine that you are elected as the new sports chief of the SA, and as you know, most of our events that are related to sports take place in cooperation with SSC Riga. Now, imagine that during your SA term, the SSC sports chief is extremely reluctant to any kind of cooperation. So what would you do? What kind of events would you organize if you get, for example, 2.5K from the SA budget devoted to sports events?
I would try to talk with the other SA board members because it's not just only in the SSC. It's not only the sports chairperson which is leading the way. We have to brainstorm ideas together. We have to try to realize them. And I don't think it would be a problem if we would put our minds together because in the end, SA is about being a team and we would try to figure it out.
What kind of sports events would you do on
We
your
would
own?
try an alternative. Depends on the situation, what kind of event would need 2.5Ks for the event, yeah. If it's a backyard Olympics, we gotta figure it out. It's no chance we're not gonna do it. It's a tradition, so we gotta continue doing it, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Martis. Thank you for your presentation. Could you please name at least 4 of the sports events that traditionally take place at the RGSL?
One is backyard Olympics, I mentioned it. The second one is marathon. The third one I got to hear about was the foosball table with SSC Riga. And I don't know if you can call beer pong and all those things also an event. But in my opinion, it still gets everybody together in one room. And that would still be an event. So it's 3.5 basically that I know of.
Okay, and also daily practices that we have, for example, swimming, which we had.
Right now, there are none, from what I've heard right now. But there has been swimming. I talked with Richards individually. He told me that he tried to think about an idea. He wanted to implement also the group chat thing where you just do sports. For example, rent a room, sports court inside. And you try to get people together, but there's a lot of problems that come with that. The first problem was that, if, for example, if 8 basketball players, like real men, real grown men come there, and 2 women come there, nothing against women, but it possibly wouldn't be so much fun for the women or the men. It depends on the situation, but it's about having fun. It's not about having competition, even though that's in essence in the sports. Anything else?
All right, a question from my side. As already mentioned multiple times in this election process and yesterday, collaboration with SSC is crucial. And I would like to point out that the next chairperson of SSC, who is already elected, and even before he got elected, he proposed a meeting with me to discuss various questions regarding our collaboration and event organizing process. Do you know who is the next SSC sports chairperson, and if so, have you talked to him?
Yeah, Teteris. I know that's his surname. But yeah, I talked with him after the iFund event day that SSC had in their rooms. I had French lessons till 7 p.m. and afterwards I joined them. I talked with him. I congratulated him, and we brainstormed also the ideas that possibly the backyard was awesome. That was the first thing we attached to. The backyard was awesome, but we could try, for example, dart throwing or something like that. Just add little things throughout the day whilst the other team has to wait till the other teams play the games through. But one idea that we wanted to try was to get a revenge match against SSC in some sports, for example, basketball, because they won in most of the sports. All of them. I try to be optimistic. I'm not talking about the next time, but yeah, yeah, we wanted to make a revenge match in some sport that there will be an interest in from the audience. So yeah, inside, not outside, because outside wasn't the same. Inside it would be a totally different story, especially in basketball.
Okay, thank you.
Next question. Could you please name the most important steps, like organizational things that should be arranged before the Backyard Olympics?
Before the Backyard Olympics. So basically, the most crucial steps would be to get to know the budget, how much do we want to spend. Definitely the communication with the people, the audience that will be interested in. For example, making a poster or a video that advertises it, but to get the interest so that people come to you to ask about the event, not that you have to go directly to them. And then there's the practical steps, going there, checking out, putting things together, also putting in teams like the mixed teams we had with SSC. We got to make those. We got to make the get people to join for the RGSL team. And yeah, those are the main crucial steps in my opinion. Just talk with the other committees, events committee, international committee, to get people to join. So yeah.
Okay, another question from me. In your goals, you stated you want to keep the traditions and add something new. But what if, due to budgetary reasons, you would not be able to do all of them? Would you prioritize traditions, or would you prioritize your new ideas?
I would prioritize the traditions, because from those, if they are traditions, then there's a reason why they are traditions. They just can't be, if my new idea doesn't work out, there's not enough interest, then why do I have to put in the budget in a thing I don't know the results will be afterwards, if I know that tradition is going to be the thing that people like and want to continue?
No, back to me again. So during your presentation, you have mentioned that you're great at team building. So I wanted to ask you, how exactly are you going to achieve it while being a sports committee chairperson if the SA budget does not quite allow to spend money on committee team buildings? How would you build a team without team buildings? What strategies would you use?
The team building doesn't necessarily need the budget. It needs the people to get interest into getting them to know and bond each other. So yeah, if we wouldn't have the budget, we would try to find an idea which is not expensive, possibly get some interest. For example, the boat ride, send it in the student association group chat and ask people, would you be willing to pay €5 for a group ticket? We're gonna go as a group and go on a boat trip or something like that. Just remind them of that very early on. So yeah, if we would just try to make an alternative.
Okay, the last question from the board. Let's say 50 people apply for the bus that would take them to an upcoming sports event, but at the time when the bus is supposed to leave, only 10 people show up. Now those 10 people need to split the costs of the bus, so of course it's more expensive for them to split the costs when compared to the 50 people splitting the costs. What would you do in this situation, and how would you prevent this issue from happening in the future?
I would make people pay going on the bus, like before. If they assign for it, then they can pay for it, but pre-hand, like a couple of days earlier. Because when I talked with Ricards, then he told that I asked him a question about the marathon. You have to send the money, but if you don't attend the marathon, it's your problem. In that case, that if you already paid for it, so it's basically if you want to show up or you don't want to, you're going to lose money as an associate in that case, or the person that's going on the bus. Worst case scenario, I'm going to go to administration if that hasn't been done, and try to talk it out with them. Possibly, I don't know if that would work. I gotta try it out. And also, the worst case scenario, I would just pay for it because I'm the sports chairperson and I gotta take responsibility for all the people that are under me.
Any more questions from the board?
No, we can see the questions from the audience, maybe from someone in here.
Questions from the audience?
Yes, over here. I mean, to put it very, very frankly, in order to save time, we know that men are a little bit more interested in the sporting events that happen at school, and I would really love to hear your opinion on how you're going to really make it a safe space for girls to participate as well. So in the backyard Olympics, what they did in the mixed group is that they made a rule that girls had to participate at least on the field. There had to be one in the mixed group playing the sport, and I think that really helped kind of break down people's tendency towards really a competition and lean it towards collaboration. I would love to hear your input on it. Are you going to stick to a similar strategy? Are there other things that pop into mind?
I've been only to one backyards, and those, from what I heard, the girls that I talk with that were in my team and the other teams, I just really like to talk with people in the backyard Olympics and other events. They're okay with that because it's about having fun. It's not about the physical abilities, in my opinion. So I would continue doing the same. Obviously, I would talk it out with Tetris if it's backyard Olympics and if he's okay with the idea. But yeah, I would suggest to continue the idea. If there's been good reviews, then it's a good result.
Okay, yeah, we're out of time, so thank you, Martis. Okay, and so as the wheel decided, it's time for Reinis Rorbaks to make his case. So Reinis, you have 7 minutes, and then we have 10 minutes Q&A.
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Reinis Rorbaks. I am first year student, law and business student, and I'm running for sports committee chairperson position. A little bit about me. I am 20 years old. I finished Riga Secondary School number 6. I finished Riga Volleyball School Sports Service program, and I spent 1 year at University of Latvia, which was a waste of time. But talking about sports, for me sports has always been important part of my life. It's more about hobby. It has shaped my life to where I am now. And in my case, as you see, it's volleyball, it's beach volleyball. Don't really know how many years I've been playing, more like since I can remember myself. And these years have taught me a lot, have taught me how important is teamwork, the value of hard work, you know. On Sundays at 6 a.m. you have to wake up to go for practice, and you really want to spend some 10 extra minutes in bed, and even call sick, you know. I broke my leg, I'm not coming today. But you have to get over that. Once you get past this point, you get back your motivation. Yeah, that's the most important part. And yeah, volleyball has given me so many opportunities. For instance, to be in a Latvian national team, to be a part of something bigger than just me. And this experience on its own kind of pushes me forward. Yeah, and about experience, throughout my time in volleyball, I've got a lot of them, many job experiences. Actually, my whole job experience is related to volleyball, or at least sport. And have gained a lot of sets of skills. My first job experience as a court manager, it involved communication with clients, sometimes with unhappy clients, unsatisfied, so those conversations weren't that pleasant. You have to manage that, making schedules, managing equipment, organizing tournaments. Even though I'm not working there anymore, I'm still doing that time to time when they ask. And yeah, dealing with finances and so on. As a coach, I have learned a lot about teaching, explaining things that others don't understand and know how to do it, and with youth that sometimes don't even want to know how. As a referee, there's always part of me where I have to decide who gets the point. My opinion can't be biased, and decision has to be made on the spot in no time. And Yeah, a few years ago, actually, I had a chance to be a part of a Guinness World Record attempt here in Riga, and also saw there's a picture. It was international event. Met many new people from various backgrounds. As a volunteer, my role was to be a manager for the team responsible for employing 50 courts. Great experience, definitely one of the best in my life. Yeah. Yeah, so what's my motivation? Why I applied? I can kind of summarize. I have education, sport related education, I have lots of experience in this field. I'm ready. Of course, I am in sports committee, in ambassador program, in which I've been pretty active recently, and I like that. And this all kind of pushes me forward. I have ideas, I want to execute them, and that kind of pushes me. And yeah, when it comes to objectives, of course, the first one as a priority stays the same. It's Backyard Olympics. I think Richard has done a pretty good job there. Of course, as the first year student, I and some other students saw some flaws maybe on which we should work on next year. But overall, it was a great experience as the first year. Got to know all other students. But yeah, from my side, more collaboration with SSC. The newly elected sports committee chairperson is Davis. He's a good friend of mine. I've been in one team with him like for 5 or 6 years. We already talked the other day, discussed a few ideas we could push forward. Yeah, opportunity to rent volleyball courts for free of charge. Yeah, I have to say, it's kind of done deal. I have to send some final emails out. I hope to add squash and beach tennis as well over time. Still working on that. And encourage students to represent RGSL in various events, especially Latvijas Universiade, in which Ivars and I represented RGSL a few months ago, and we had our hoodies on, and other students were asking, like, what is RGSL? Is it some kind of law school? Once we explained, they were like, oh, sounds fancy. So it kind of feels like wasted opportunity. We can, that's the other way how we could represent this school. And of course, merch. Yeah, it was kind of bursting. We didn't have, and SSC did have in Backyard Olympics. So that's something I think we should have in the future. My idea maybe is 2 lines, regular and sport. We could add some sponsors as well to get the cost down. And yeah, and that goes together with the third one to represent RGSL. Yeah, thank you for attention.
Okay, thank you, Vainis. And we can start with the questions from the board.
Yeah, so my first question is, as you have mentioned in your presentation, and it's also a well-known fact that collaboration with other universities is very efficient and it's very engaging in terms of attracting students. And so my question is, how would you ensure that? Because sometimes there might be some misunderstandings between different student associations, because, for example, even us and SSC in some ways were built very differently in terms of the essay framework and structure. So how would you ensure that great cooperation still persists?
Yeah, of course. Cooperation is very important, and I think communication is the essence of the problem. If you don't communicate, of course, there will be misunderstandings. You have to keep good relationships. Don't make any problems where they shouldn't be. And with SSC, I think in my case there shouldn't be any. As I said, Davis is a friend of mine for many years, and we have good ideas. We already discussed some of them, and yeah, communication is the key.
Could you mention a couple of ideas that you discussed, just for us to get?
Yeah, we were kind of thinking about something about like second Backyard Olympics, only like in spring, early spring. We both have a good contact where we could kind of organize that, but the problem we kind of thought through might be how many people would come. So maybe with cooperation with PR committee, we could manage to get more people. Yeah, but it's just idea at the moment.
Yeah, very good question by Julia, which leads me to my question actually. Speaking about bigger and smaller events, if given a limited budget, would you rather organize like 2, as you mentioned, or 3 bigger events with like potential participation of over 100 students, or organize more smaller events but more in count, for example 6 or 7, but with a participation of around 20 students, and why?
Yeah, I think it all goes down to how many people would actually come, like in the reality. If we could manage to make like a 2 or 3 bigger, I think that's more important. You can meet other students, especially if you are year 1, you can meet year 2 and year 3 students. And if I take, for example, my idea about second Olympics, the place we would organize it at is, we both know the manager there, and he would be very willing to give us a space for quite a good money. They have a bar, so we could manage something. But yeah, but as I said, it all goes down to how many people would actually come. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that you can make like a second backyard Olympics type of event. Then wouldn't the first one lose its value? In the way that, for example, for me, the first backyard Olympics has a special place in my heart. That's how I met like RGSL people, networked and had fun. Those are my first memories. But if it happens twice, then it's possibly not the same.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I definitely agree. The first backyard Olympics was a just wonderful experience for all of us. But unfortunately, many didn't go because the next week was exam week, and I can't think in the next spring it could be a good idea because many didn't go due to the exam week.
Remind that board questions go first, and then we have audience, but it's all right. Everything's fine. Now, my next question is: if you were to fall extremely sick before the backyard Olympics event, what would you do in that situation? How would you ensure that everything goes smoothly?
Well, I would have associates in the first place, communications SSC, and I'm still could be, well, my phone would be with me. I don't think that should be any that big of the deal. As I said, everything would be organized in cooperation with SSC, and associates would be into all of that. So everyone would know what to do. I think it should go pretty smoothly.
Okay, thank you, Reins, for your presentation. As it was mentioned before, we are quite a small university, and it is hard to establish the necessary number of people who want to participate in certain sports activities. How would you handle the diverse suggestions and wishes of everyone on campus?
If we take, for example, again, backyard Olympics, I think the sport should stay the same. Maybe we about mixed teams. In the previous presentation, there was a question, yeah, that we could make them more, and like 2 girls must be on the court, type of thing. But yeah, I think sports shouldn't be changed, but of course we have to ask other students' opinions. If there really is no one who wants to play football, then what's the point if no one actually wants to go there? But overall, I think we have our traditions and which we should follow.
Okay, I'll have an introduction to my question, or the question, by a question. I don't expect you to have an answer, but perhaps you know. Who was the sports committee chairperson before me? If you don't know, that's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. He's actually sitting right in front of you at the
I
computer.
figure.
And he wants to ask a question as the previous sports committee chairperson.
Yeah, thanks. Have you heard of the
football tournament.
Yeah, I know.
What
Familiar.
do you know about it?
Only that is happening at RGSL.
There are actually two football tournaments. One happens, usually happens at the very beginning of the year, in February, January, February. And that we organize by ourselves. Only RGSL participates. And then there's another one towards the end of academic year. That's for both SSE students and RGSL students. And there's a tradition that the winner team signs the bottom of the foosball table. So take that in mind.
Okay. Oh, there's no question? Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the last question from our side. You mentioned volunteer work during your presentation, which is great. Do you see something like this for RGSL as well to perhaps enhance the participation for students to participate in sports events further on? So for example, if they see like the volleyball tournament and they participate there as volunteers, which that raise engagement in your eyes?
Well, I think all of us who works in participates in SA, in committees, are kind of volunteers. This is our free time we are ready to spend. So, and of course it's engaging, it helps for university, for other students, so definitely, yeah.
Are there any questions from the audience here? All right, there's one question submitted online and is as follows. How are you different from other candidates, and why should we vote for you instead of them?
Okay, well, first of all, I heard only one presentation, but I think the biggest difference is experience. I have education related to sports. I have basically my whole life is one big experience in various international, local events. I've been part of as a manager, as a referee, as a player, as a just viewer. I've seen everything. I've been doing everything. So yeah, definitely experience.
Well, if there are no more questions, then thank you, Reinis. Now it's time for the third candidate, Rein Savotiņš, to make his case. Please put your hands together for him.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rein Savotiņš, and as you can see, I'm a candidate for the Sports Committee chairperson. Let's start with the boring stuff first. A little about me. Who am I? I have 12 years of experience of playing basketball all over Latvia. That started in Ikstula, in my hometown. Then it was Salaspils for a year, and then it was all the different teams in Riga, you name it. I also had a football phase for a single summer, which was confusing, but at least I realized that I'm too big to do football. Yeah. Then I was also a member of Latvian under 16 and under 18 Latvian national teams. That is me right there, looking as happy as ever. Yeah, and then last year basketball took me over the pond to United States, where I had a great opportunity to compete in NEPSAC AAA league conference, how you want to say it. It really was great. I competed with the best of the best of United States and really opened my eyes that I should focus more on studies rather than playing basketball, because that ain't gonna work out for me. And yeah, I also proudly represented RGSL in this year's Backyard Olympics. I would also have a picture of that if I wasn't a sore loser and went home immediately afterwards. But yeah. But speaking of that, we move on to my vision and goals. So I think the biggest, not an issue, it's always going to be there. But the thing we have to fight, so to say, is we have to motivate people and our students to participate in different sports activities, because as I understood, there was an opportunity for RGSL students to go swimming. It was either in the Rimi Olympic Center or whatever, right? And I think that's great, but as I understood, not enough people wanted to do that. And yeah, I think it's a question of motivation. And how I can help that would be, I can bring in interesting speakers from my days of playing basketball. I had best coaches in Latvia. I happen to know the strength coach for VF Riga. He worked with me for 2 summers, and he's really a really interesting guy. And it doesn't seem real. He's like a movie character. You listen to him and you realize how unimportant you are. And he's really a captivating speaker. I think he would really bring the best out of our students here. And yeah, this is just some of the ideas. Of course, I'm the kind of guy, I don't really like to jump ahead of myself. And this is like some vague outlines, and I haven't really given it much thought. But some memberships to gyms would be nice, or even some organize some athletic events. Well, not events, but like practices, either weekly or twice a week. We could organize practices for team sports if the demand is high enough. We would have to talk to people and realize what they want to do. Is it basketball? Is it volleyball? Is it football? Is it whatever? And last but not least, we have to beat SSC Riga in Backyard Olympics next year, because well, the event was great, don't get me wrong, but I left with a sort of sour feeling, because it was some incident. I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, I really want to get them back next year, so to say. Of course, friendly. We have to realize we're brothers and sisters. We basically share the same building. There's no hate. I realized there was also a lot of alcohol involved, so it's cool. But yeah, that would be it, and that's kind of it from my part.
Okay, thank you, Rainis, and let's do the Q&A.
Yeah, thank you a lot for the presentation. It seemed to me that you have quite a good knowledge about the sports committee. However, I also know that you haven't been an associate in the sports committee yet. So I just wanted to ask, kind of, why didn't you apply when it was the application time? What made you kind of reconsider it now?
Yeah, no, I knew this question was coming. As you can see, I'm pretty nervous right here, but I couldn't answer you, because Richards, from what I heard, he's a great guy. He's like not outgoing, but he's like easygoing was the word I was looking for. Sorry, maybe you're outgoing too. I don't know. But yeah, I really don't know. It was the deadline for application, and I was talking to Martis actually, and he was like, yeah, you should apply. And I thought, yeah, I really should, and I didn't. It was, maybe it had to do with the fact that it was Friday evening, and I probably had something better to do than apply. But yeah, and I really couldn't answer you, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, hi, thank you for your presentation. My question is also involving SSC. Similar question as to Mart's is, have you talked to the next SSC chairperson, or do you still keep sour thoughts in your head about them?
No. I really doubt that it was him doing the deed, but no, I have not talked to him. I think I know how he looks, but yeah, I haven't got the chance.
I'm going to start with a little introductory. I'm a very active person myself, and I really do want to see in the future that we have a more active university, but due to somewhat low participation, throughout the year sports activities, sometimes it can get hard to inspire students to participate. So what is your vision regarding the engagement for the students in sports activities?
Well, as I mentioned, I think the speakers would do a lot of good. The physical coach of F-League is not the only guy I know. There's a lot of interesting speakers I could bring in. They would talk about like the starting from the basics, like your sleep schedule, your diet, your everything, how to be more just a healthy person. And as I stated in my introduction, so to say, statement that sports can bring the best out of any of us, and I still stand by it. I truly believe that, and yeah, I think that will be the way to go to really hear it from the professionals who can like educate and enlighten us, so to say.
Another question for me. Yeah, sports committee, it's mostly about the active kind of sports, but what would you think about, for example, chess tournaments? Would you, as a sports chief, want to make something like this because it's also kind of considered a sport, or you would give that kind of duty to another SA member, and if yes, then who would it be?
Well, I guess I would have to collaborate with the event committee chairperson, but yeah, definitely chess is a sport. Maybe you could argue whether these people are athletes or not, but I know we're downstairs we have the chess boards, and a lot of people are playing it. I'm not good at chess, but yeah, I know a lot of my friends do it, and I think the demand, if the demand is high enough, the event could be organized, and maybe something else could be added on the side by the said event committee.
That's it from the board.
I'll just delegate my second question to Arms.
Well, thanks, Richard. Yeah, I want to go back to the topic of engagement and participation. As you correctly mentioned, there were swimming practices in the spring of this year, and also during my time there were swimming practices in Tiepsala swimming pool. The attendance was quite low, as you already mentioned, but the main reason people weren't as active as we would like them to be was that they were scared that they were not good enough swimmers. Yeah? So those motivational speakers are good, but they wouldn't address the problem of those people, their fear of not being as good. How would you address this challenge?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, definitely they can help you in the real world, so to say, real world. But yeah, I think you could. It's either the swimming practices or, as I mentioned, the gym memberships. Somebody who's more educated in that could go kind of with them and show them the right way. Like when I started to go to the gym, I also didn't know how to do a lot of exercises, but I had the best coaches. Well, obviously we couldn't hire coaches, but we could hire somebody with at least the basic knowledge and sort of like help and guide the people who want to participate, kind of guide them to the right path, and it's just a matter of time, like I don't know, some months, and then they would be able to do it by themselves, whether that is swimming, running, gym, whatever.
Yeah, perhaps you can also just cooperate with the PR committee and spread the word that it's not only swimming you can do there. You can also just relax in saunas and stuff. So it's not only like the sporty part of swimming. You can also relax here. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions from the audience?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I wanted to ask how sensible are you about health related to sport? And because the first speaker said that in Latvia most of the time spirits are going along with sports. What is your feeling about this?
Well, whether we like it or not, that is the reality. But I do not really encourage you to kind of join these two fields. You can do it afterwards. always, and if you really want to do it. But yeah, I think that was also part of the. Well, I don't want to say problem because the event was organized really nice at the Backyard Olympics. But I think what I would do is hire more, not hire, but kind of position more sober people, call them referees, and that just like control the crowd, if you know what I mean. Just don't allow any like remarks or anything like that to fly. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, and yeah, thank you.
Any more questions?
If I may follow up, how would you ensure sober referees?
Well, there would probably be the people from sports committee, both from RGSL and SSC Riga, and well, we're not animals. I think we can control ourselves. Like you can drink afterwards. There was the unofficial part, right? After all the sporting events had ended, you can control yourself to not drink for a few hours, and then if you want, go crazy in the night.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what happened. All the referees were sports committee members from both universities, and we told them exactly what you did. Well, it turned out as it did. But thank you.
Yeah.
All right, there is one more question sent in, and so the question is, how are you gonna make sure that the RGSL wins Backyard Olympics next year?
Oh, good question. I think what I mentioned briefly about the organization of kind of like team practices, we could assemble the team earlier. Even the Backyard Olympics came early in the year. It was September still, I think, and we could maybe even have practices in the summer if people are willing to do it, and kind of form the teams, and then the biggest part is to just get to know each other. I think from what I saw, I didn't watch the whole football game, but as I heard, it was disastrous, and I think we just have to like know each other. And from playing the basketball game, it was also a lot of miscommunication, and you just have to know each other. Obviously, you're not gonna get better from few practices before the Olympics, but you can get to know your teammates, and I think that is half of the victory, so to say.
Well, we're out of time for the Q&A. Thank you, Reins.
Thank you.
Okay, I also want you to all give it up for the sports.com candidates. And yeah, it's time to move to the secretary position. So we're gonna spin the wheel and see who goes first, who goes second, and let's do it. Okay, so first up will be Sofia. Let's decide. And the second one will be Sofia again. Okay, let's spin it again. We might get lucky. Okay, and Mia is going to be the second one to present.
Hi, so we're all gathered here today for me to hopefully convince you why I am the best possible candidate for the secretary position. So I will start with a brief past experience that has shaped me into the person that I am today, which is ultimately your next secretary. So for most of my life, I was a traditional Latvian folk like dancer, which not only taught me the art of dzūgs ritos, it also taught me discipline, punctuality, as well as teamwork, which I feel are all very crucial aspects that a person should have if they want to be a secretary. Secondly, I've had a brief experience helping out the event committee, where I was a fortune teller in the last party, which was the freak show. And you might look at this photo and say, wow, she looks so aggressive. That's where you're wrong. I am what? Passionate. Passionate about what? This university, these students. And furthermore, my expertise as a fortune teller can help because I can anticipate the needs of the student body, and also I can foresee the future and see if maybe some hang-ups could happen and also prevent them, which ultimately would lay the groundwork for very seamless and very smooth work in the student association. And the last and most important experience is that I have in fact taken notes before. So next I will talk about some qualifications that I have. So firstly, I'm a very fast typer, guys. My words per minute estimate anywhere around 40 to 100 words per minute because it varies depending on the words that I am typing. And this is not just a skill, guys, no. This is the testament to my dedication to the work that I'm doing and ultimately the work that I will be doing in the student association. Because I am not just a typer, guys. I am the embodiment of rapid cognition because this ultimately will be the rhythm of productivity that the student association will have, as well as the heartbeat of efficiency. Nextly, you would wonder, what would happen if I would break my computer? I can write with my hand, it's fine. I can write cursive as well as non-cursive, so all of the fields are covered basically. So thirdly, I will tell you why I am the best candidate for this position. So firstly, I have a passion for taking notes, and this kind of passion I don't believe that anyone has ever seen in this university, nor they will ever see again, because this is not something you learn. This is something you're born with. But passion can only take you so far. I know. I have expertise. I have experience at taking notes, which I have done in school as well as university, and I take great notes. I take possibly the best notes this university, nay, this country has ever seen. Furthermore, I'm an understander of confidentiality, and you may ask yourself, why does this matter? Well, you wouldn't want someone talking around about an event that has not yet been announced, because I believe that confidentiality is more than just, a discretion. I will be the guardian of trust, because it's not will be just about handling the sensitive information. I will guard it like a treasure, like I'm a pirate and it's my booty, because ultimately, this will ensure that trust is the cornerstone to the student association and further its integrity. And my last qualification is that I am a beacon of responsibility. And my reliability isn't just a mere promise to you guys. No, it's a sacred vow. It's an oath, if you will, because I don't plan on just, showing up. I plan on being the pillar upon the entire student association can lean on whenever they need to be. And each task will not just be, completed, it will be honored with everything that I have inside of me. And lastly, I will briefly talk about what are my goals for the Student Association. So firstly, as I have mentioned, I take the best notes this country has ever seen, and I plan on fostering the best notes this university and the Student Association has ever seen, because notes, they're more than just words. They are the gateways to understanding as well as enlightenment. Because I plan on being the tidal wave of note-taking enthusiasm that will flow through each and every corner of the student association room. Because I believe that the power of organized notes will radiate brighter than 1,000 suns, and it will be how we achieve all of our goals. This is how will we be organized, which furthermore will be how we do very great work. Secondly, you see this picture again. Aggressive? No. Passionate. So you're going to ask, what is a human reminder? Well, there is this human factor where sometimes people forget things. That's fine. It happens to everyone. And because I will be armed and dangerous with the notes of everyone's responsibility, I will be able to breathe life into the forgotten duties. I will be able to resurrect them from the depths of the ocean of oversight. Because I will be the echo of collective duties as well as the keeper of commitments. And last but certainly not least, I think this is the most important part. I will want to collaborate and help every single board member, because being in a student association is all about collective effort, how you work together to do everything. It's not just about individual contribution, what you do on your own board. No, it's working to amplify the efforts, the talents of each and every person in the student association, and not just the board members, but also each and every associate. But I believe if we intertwine our strengths, our ideas, and our dedication, we can elevate each single project, event, an initiative that we undertake for us to be the best student association this university has ever seen, and to be the best university this country, nay, universe, has ever seen. And for all of these reasons, I will be, hopefully, your next secretary. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. It's time for questions from the board.
Hi, Sophie. Thank you very much for your very interesting presentation. I enjoyed it a lot. However, I do have some serious type of question right now for you. What are the responsibilities of the secretary that are mentioned in the SA statutes? Are they sufficient and comprehensive? And additionally, what are some other duties and responsibilities that the secretary of the SA board could or even should take up on?
So in the official document, it states that I need to be taking memos of each of the board meetings, as well as keeping them organized and record, like keeping it. That's all that is mentioned. But in reality, as I have consulted with the current secretary, the work of it goes even further. You need to, what it entails is that you have to help everyone. It's basically you take notes, sure, but also you help everyone around, and you have to be flexible and eager to help each and every person in the student association. So I don't think it's extensive enough. There are only two minor points to it, and that's it. So yeah.
I'd like to ask you a follow-up question about the statutes of the SA. So as you might have probably noticed yourself, they are a little bit outdated. So how do you think would it be the duty of a secretary to renew them and kind of make them more aligned with the real situation that is going in the SA actually, or is it the duty of the education committee, or who should do that?
That's a great question. I believe that the duty, I would be honored to take upon this duty. Obviously, the education committee could have some say in it, but if it came out, I feel like the secretary in general doesn't have that many responsibilities as it is. So I would feel like it would make sense if another responsibility would be for them to take up and for them to do. So I would say the secretary.
Oh, hi, Sophie. Thank you for your very energetic presentation. I also very much enjoyed it. I have a question for you. Given that the responsibilities and duties of the secretary are somewhat limited, do you believe that this position is even necessary? If so, could you elaborate on the reasons behind its necessity? What other duties do you think the secretary of the SA board should undertake to enhance their contributions to the whole board?
I believe that the secretary's position is not only necessary, I think it's crucial. I think without it, it is the glue that holds everything together. I believe if you would take out the secretary, the whole SA would crumble apart. Everything would fall down, everything would be horrible. And I believe that a secretary's duties are crucial. As I said, human reminder, keeping tabs of what needs to be done. Because I believe that if I would be honored to be in the position, that basically, I lost my train of thought. That basically, when I put all of the things that needs to be done, it makes for efficient work, which makes for efficient outcomes. And so, I stand that it is crucial, a very crucial role.
Okay, thank you. And what are some other duties that the secretary could take up on that you haven't already touched up on?
I feel like it's a very flexible job. I think it's the one that you should take anything that's thrown at you at the moment's notice, I feel. So it's kind of hard to predict what the student association would need at any given moment. I think it's about flexibility, about doing what you need to be done at any moment's notice and helping whoever needs to be helped.
Okay, thank you.
I have a follow-up question again. So my question is, have you contacted the current glue of the system, Nikos, and did you get any kind of helpful insights from him? What did he kind of advise you if you did contact him?
I did contact him, yes. I asked him for any tips for my campaign, as well as I asked him how his campaign went and how his presentation went, and he gave me insight as to well, what the what I said previously, the official document only states of taking notes, and he told me that that's completely not it. That you need to be helping everyone else, and he gave me some insight of what I should maybe mention in my presentation, which was very helpful. And yeah, that was it.
Hi, Sophie. Thank you. It was actually really passionate. And my question is, which of the other candidates running for this position do you perceive as your most significant competition, and what factors contribute to your assessment?
I haven't had the pleasure yet to formally meet both of my competitors, so I don't have much insight about what are their strengths and weaknesses. But I think they're both amazing. I know that Mia has been a very active participant in student association, which gives her an upper hand because she's more known, and that's all I pretty much know. Yeah.
Are there any more questions by the audience right here? Okay. It seems that there are not, but there are some online. So the first question is, what is your work experience?
Oh, this is a great question. I have worked as a kindergarten teacher for a little over 2 years, and I had to stop this year when I started RGSL because of scheduling differences. But I loved my job there. It was very fun. I worked with 5 to 7-year-old kids, and it was very cool. I liked it.
Okay, there are a few more questions. If you would like to pick a song that represents you as secretary, what would you say?
A song that's been really speaking to me this past month actually, ever since I started the campaign, has been Never Say Never by Justin Bieber. It just, something about it makes me feel so powerful and ready to take over the world, and I would say that song.
Okay. Another question is, when you were the fortune teller, you said that I found my husband, but we broke up. So do you think you are appropriate for this position?
Well, maybe the husband is the friends we made along the way. I believe that, well, maybe they will get back together. Who knows? Like, it's maybe a small, like setback, guys. We don't know. I mean, I know, but she doesn't know yet. It's a small, like setback. She's gonna get right on track. It's fine.
Okay, and the last question submitted online is as follows. So your only asset to the essay will be note-taking?
No, one of my previous slides was that I would love to collaborate and help everyone. I believe that they put in that question before the presentation was even finished, because I think I've been assertive that I would love to help and help in any way, shape, and form. And note-taking is just one of my many, many attributes.
Okay. Well, if there are no more questions from the audience here in person, so then I have to say thank you, Sophie. All right. Okay, so it's time to see the next presenter, Mia. 7 minutes. 7 minutes. You're up.
No worries. Okay, awesome. I won't be too long, guys, I promise. We'll hop straight into it. I mean, that was a fantastic presentation, but I was like out of breath for you. I was up there like, oh my God, okay, I'm listening. So mine is definitely going to be much slower, but I promise to not take too much time. So yes, I am campaigning for the secretary position.
And we'll start with about me, because this is the most important thing in my presentation. If this achieves nothing, at least you know my name and we can make some small talk sometime across the next 2 years. I am an international student doing my law and diplomacy year 2 here now. I am South African. I was born there. My family's from there. I speak Afrikaans. However, I moved to Dominica in the Caribbean when I was 13. And then when I was 17, I started studying at RGSL. I was only 17 for 2 weeks, but it sounds more impressive when I say that. I am 19 years old now, and this is my second time campaigning for secretary. Second time's the charm, let's see. I have been an associate since day one in the education and the international committee, so in that regards, I do have a good feeling for how things work and also the areas that I would like to focus on improving. Skills and personality traits. As the previous presentation really very nicely summarized what it is that a secretary needs to do, I wouldn't be standing up here if I didn't think I could do that job and if it didn't feel compatible to me as a person. I can take notes, I can use Word, I can use Excel, I can do it, and the same regards with personality traits. I really am someone who likes to fill the gaps in group work and see where there's weaknesses, where it can be fixed, how can I help the other party, how can this flexibility really improve conditions everywhere. On the note of good track record, this is not my favorite part of the presentation, trying to sell myself to you guys and flex on my achievements, but I'm gonna give it a crack. So of course I think it's impressive in itself that I've moved not once but twice across the world on my own this time, and I've not only survived, which is, you know, keeping yourself alive, grocery shopping, figuring out how to do laundry, all these things consistently on top of managing schoolwork. It's a task in and of itself, and I have thrived, to be honest with you guys. Like, really, I can pat myself on the back because academically I got the award, the Riga Excellence thingy thing, so where I saved 500 euros on next year's tuition just by really keeping on top of my schoolwork, which is really amazing for me. And I'm part of the Vismut, which is our international commercial arbitration that we're going to Vienna next year, which I'm really excited about. In my free time, I'm always looking for these weird opportunities. Like yesterday, I just came back from Jurmala for the first time for this negotiations training that was hosted by the Women's Peace and Security Initiative, and I found them on Instagram. I submitted the form. I went, and it was 2 days in Jurmala, and it was amazing. And I feel like being able to do that thing and do it even knowing nobody in the group, just getting on the train for the first time in my life, it's a big step, and I think that everything in that reflects my ability to do this job very well. And the next thing, which I think we all can appreciate, is that I'm not going on an Erasmus. So short of getting me deported, I am here for the next 2 years, so I can do this job, guys, I swear. So really just want to focus on where my priorities would lie going into this position should I get elected. And I think really a lot of the problems that were brought up throughout yesterday's campaigns and discussion and everything about participation, I think communication is a great way to solve that. Because in the international committee, what was noticeable is we would have this great idea for an event, a board game night, but we'd simply wait too long to tell the students. Thing is, as much as I would love to pretend that international students, the Erasmus students, they have nothing to do but sit at home and wait for you to organize a party, they have a busy schedule. And the same can be said about the students at RGSL. We would love to pretend, yeah, you're waiting for an invite to RGSL's parties, but you have work, you have your own lives. So I think if we were to shorten the time period between making the decisions and actually letting people know, using the fact that we have your email addresses, we have these WhatsApp groups, we have these forms of communication, and we just need to, in my opinion, get that information out a little bit sooner. In the same way, communication helps that the SA is fundamentally a bridge. It's supposed to be helping the students get access to the administration and administration to the students. And another important aspect is that it's not that you elect the SA today. I understand there's been a lot of hype and pressure placed on who you elect in certain position, and that's going to determine the rest of your year. But it's not like that, guys. It's really not that serious, you know? You should always have the ability to go up to whoever has been elected and say, hey, you know, I don't like what you're doing, or should be changed. And I think that communication would be a priority for me as secretary. It's about, yes, you need to come to me to talk, but it's my job to create the safe space for you to come to tell me, okay, the SA needs to do this, or not me exclusively, any person in the SA. And I think that's my point about continual representation and accountability to students. I think it's very easy when you're in this group where you know everybody and you're going through this hard time making these decisions on the student association level, to kind of forget that you're a student too. And I think that's where the priority should lie. We're students first and foremost. I'm 19 years old. I'm going to try my best, and I really believe I'd succeed, otherwise I wouldn't be up here, to represent you guys and to do the things that are going to create a good and educational and university environment. However, I'm still, in a way, working for you, you know, that at any point, you guys need to be able to come to the student association and feel that they should adjust their approach. And of course, in going up for the student association, I would love to be a representative for the international students throughout the school. Of course, that's the primary focus of the international committee, but that being said, I think it's necessary to illustrate that the international students here, we're few, but we are here. You know, we're not just people who go through the halls with funny accents or something. You know, we're here and we're taking part in the school. We're learning your culture, we're learning your language, some of us, and. So it's important that a school that's targeted at international students has that representation and reflection in the student association as well. And honestly, I'm not going to waste your time. Like, hit me with your questions. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Mia, and let's do the questions from the SA board.
Yes, thank you, Mia, so much for your presentation. I enjoyed it a lot. And perhaps you also already know, but we do make cost estimate sheets for events that we are holding. So would you think that that should be the secretary's responsibility, as sometimes the event chief or business business chief, they don't have that much time to also make these sheets for, like, for example, their associates or companies that we're working with. So do you think that a responsibility should be on, for example, your shoulders if you would be elected?
Tell me the name again of the sheet that you're talking about.
Cost estimate sheet. So we make, so there's like products, the costs, and the total.
I think that is definitely, like the previous candidate spoke about, broadening the secretary's role. And I think the secretary, there's no reason why a secretary shouldn't be able to do that. And I think, yeah, I think it's completely reasonable to expect any secretary going up to that to be open to taking on that responsibility, because that's what the secretary is there for, filling in the gaps, taking off the load of the chairpersons.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Just a quick question from my side. Why didn't you participate in the campaign week, especially considering that year one students are not that familiar with you?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I did put up a poster in the lobby. It's tiny, but my face is there, which is already a big step for me, guys. I barely post on Instagram. Okay, so I was already making that picture. I was like, nah, my face, I can't put that everywhere. So it was, I feel like I could have done more, of course, especially seeing how great the first years were in doing the coalition, and I really think that's so admirable of you guys, and like the way you just pulled sponsorships out of thin air. I was like, okay, we're doing this. You guys were really, really on top of your stuff. I really, in terms of connecting it to that, the fact that first year students didn't know me, that was never a thing for me. It wasn't like, oh, I should campaign so they know me. I feel like I try to be so open and involved that even in these 4 months, you must have seen my face somewhere. I'm sorry, you're lying to yourself if you say you haven't. I'm always running my mouth if I'm in a room. I'm always talking to people or listening to you. I'm like a bat. The second you speak English, I'm listening to your conversation. So really, it's like I only get to know a certain part of a person when they interact with me explicitly in English, that the second you speak English, even if it's a joke 5 miles away, I've heard it, okay? So, yeah.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. My question would be, can you highlight any relevant experience or skills that uniquely qualify you for this position?
Yeah, so going even further back into my history than just what I've done achievement-wise at RGSL, in South Africa, you go to primary school until you're 13, and I was actually a head girl for my final year in high school there. And then when I moved to the island, again in my second last year of what's high school, when I was like 15, 16, I was head girl again. And especially in Dominica, because we were a very, very small school of just about 200, 150 students, you did everything. As head girl, you were counting the money for every little event you had. You were doing this, you were doing that. So I have a bunch of variety of experiences that allow me to feel confident and I can take care of memos, documentation stuff, but I can also be a flexible person to be what you need and to reflect what the student association is missing and kind of weaknesses of my counterparts I try to balance out and provide this alternate point of view.
Thank you, just a general question from my side. As you're an international student yourself, and for the past 2 years, as you already mentioned, you have been one of the most active international committee associates, and it seems that you are greatly equipped to candidate for the position of the international committee chairperson. Therefore, my question is, why, despite all of the involvement in the international committee, you have set your heart and are applying for the position of secretary, not the international committee chairperson?
I have an answer for it, but I worry that it's going to... Okay, voting is done already, so I'll be honest, okay? I worried, it did cross my mind, but in my opinion, I feel like when Erasmus students come, when foreign students come, the first thing they should see is a representation of the country. I'm not Latvian. Yes, I'm learning the language and I'm trying to adjust and acclimatize, but I'm not Latvian, and I think that it's very important for the Erasmus students and international students to get a feel for a Latvian person first, especially in regards to taking them on trips. I can barely find my way home most days. I can't show around foreigners in the parliament or in this and that, you know, so it just... I wouldn't feel confident putting myself in a position like that where more foreigners are counting on me, you know? It's just a little bit too much. Not to say that Yulia can't do that at all. Like, it just, for me, it was like, whoa, no. No, more foreigners, no.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from the board? Okay. Any questions from the audience? Okay, I guess there are no questions online, so
Really?
thank you,
You guys don't even want to ask me if I like the snow? I'm serious. Really, guys, anything at all.
What is your favorite color?
God, wow, such a difficult question. Thank you. Okay, forget I said anything. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay. So we've concluded the first part, and we have a 15-minute break now. So I want you to be back here sharp, 19:40, 7:40. Be back here. we're at the halfway point, and we have one more secretary candidate to hear from, and then we'll be moving on to the vice president, 2 candidates there, and also the president, also 2 candidates there. So the next up for the secretary position, candidating is Nadine Sadeh. Please put your hands together for her.
Hello, everyone. Hope you had a nice break. Got some snacks. Yes, today I will, hopefully you'll get to know me a bit more and you'll see why my motivations for becoming secretary and yeah, a little bit about my personality. So, first of all, just some general things. I'm a year 1 law and diplomacy student, and I was born here in Riga. Born and raised, well, raised until I was 5, but I'm also half Dutch, so the best breakfast idea is just Latvian rye bread and Dutch cheese. I promise if you try it, you'll love the combination. And another thing is, my whole family moved to Belgium, and I finished school there. So yeah, that's just my background. So the school I went to is a European school, so everything was in English. And I'm very glad I got that opportunity. And I also got to continue speaking in Latvian there. So a few things I did there. I was part of the pupils committee. This is us. And I was also a coordinator. This is me with a walkie-talkie, if you can see that. I thought it was very cool. It was, of course, I think less serious than here in the SA board, but it was still a nice, experience. And then lastly, I was part of the debate club, and which also enabled me to be part of 2 model European councils, which is kind of like a, kind of like the moot court here. So yeah, the debate club is really close to my heart, so I'm really excited. Yesterday when some of the candidates also mentioned starting a debate club here in RGSL. So yeah. Another thing is I also studied for a year in a little liberal arts college in Middelburg, which is where my family's from. And so as you can see, this was my campus, so I got to live a little bit of my dark academia aesthetic dreams. And I wasn't really active there because it's a very small town, but I was a volunteer at the food court, so made some sandwiches for students. And I was also a waitress, but I admit I was not very good at it. I definitely spilled some drinks on some customers. But both of these experiences really helped my social skills and also just time management. Yeah. But since the last small college didn't really have an active student body, I was really happy when I got here, and immediately I could see how active and dedicated everyone was. How the board introduced themselves. I could really tell that they wanted to make student life experience great. So immediately I joined the event committee as an associate, and I got to see firsthand how hardworking they are. So I could really see that they didn't join just for have it on the CV, but it was just they really everyone enjoyed their work. So yeah, and I got to see that work pay off in the Halloween party, which I was really blown away how it was the first time at a school event where there were so many cool decoration. It was very grand, which I didn't expect. And yeah, and this is the only official image of me at the party. I'm cleaning up or something, but trust me, I was there. I enjoyed every second of it. And I realized that I wanted to do everything possible to help the SA. But I didn't think my personality really fit a role of a chairperson. Which is why I'm applying for secretary, because I think it aligns more with my personality. because it's like instead of leading one specific committee, you're just like helping everyone. You're note taking. You're kind of like the soldier behind behind every committee. But don't get me wrong, though. Saying that like I don't think I'm fit for chairperson doesn't mean that I don't think I'm tough enough to be on the board. Because Exhibit A, I did work as a cook for a year at a cafe here in Riga, Cozy Eats. And it really tested me. It was like long hours, hard work, on your feet the whole day. This is me in my little outfit. But yeah, keep in mind, like when I started, I didn't know how to properly hold a kitchen knife. I was incompetent, but I really I proved to myself that I'm a quick learner, and by the in the halfway point, I could hold down the fort if necessary. So yeah, it proved to me that I'm efficient. I'm a team worker. I can take criticism because the chef didn't hold back when I was doing something wrong. So I went through everything. And yeah, and these are some examples. Exhibit B and C, high stress situations. This is not what you want to happen during rush hour. Oily rice across the floor. This tub of sticky sauce. Yeah, no, it's not fun, but yeah, I believe this has prepared me for any last minute situations because yeah, I think as the secretary, you have to be prepared for anything that's thrown at you. And yeah, so in conclusion, I think why vote for me? So yeah, I'm a great listener and I'm a quick note taker. Yeah, I think I'm chill under stress. I think I've proven that to myself by just seeing how I am in those situations. I'd say criticism well, as I said. Yeah, I think I'm also approachable. Yeah, maybe I'm a bit more introverted, which I think also why I gravitated towards secretary, because it's more yeah, being like a helping hand, the number one fan of all the other committees. And yeah, I want to be helping hand to every committee, help in any way possible. And yeah, it would be a great honor to be elected. Thank you for listening.
Okay, Nadina, thank you so much. Questions from the board?
Thank you, Nadine, for your presentation. My question would be, can you mention at least one distinctive advantage that sets you apart from other candidates that are running for this position? And additionally, can you identify an aspect where you may have a comparative weakness in relation to your opposing candidates?
Yes. Well, maybe an advantage. Well, I'm not sure that the other candidates lack this, but I know that I would love to help all the committees, and I especially I'm interested in the international committee since I'm kind of the both sides. My nationality is both Dutch, Latvian. I really want to help it more. Also, my interest in debates. I think, yeah, I'm a creative person. I could suggest many good ideas, which, yeah, I'm not saying that other candidates can't do that. I can't think of anything that they lack specifically, but maybe, yeah, and maybe what I lack is more that I'm a bit more introverted. Maybe I'm not the first to take up to socialize, but I think I was actually in the SA Instagram page. I was kind of looking at the previous year candidates, and one of them in the 2022 secretary, she mentioned that it was a great role for that specific introverts and organizational people. So yeah, I think I'm great for that.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. I enjoyed it a lot. We have already asked this question, but I do want to see your viewpoint on this. So given that the responsibilities and duties of the secretary are somewhat limited, do you believe that this position is necessary?
Yeah, I definitely agree completely with what Sophia said, that as a secretary, it doesn't just, it's not just limited to note taking. You're just there for anyone in the committee to turn to, as also talked about before, with like the writing up the payments and yeah, it's just I also asked Nikolaus for some tips, and the essential thing he said was just the number one helper of the SA. So yeah, I think it definitely extends more than just the bookkeeper.
Okay, and then I also have a follow-up question. What are the potential areas for improvement and expansion do you see for this role?
Well, definitely just more tasks. Specifically, I mean, yeah, I guess I would need to, if I am elected, then I could see where maybe I'm needed more, where maybe some that are more busy committees, there are some things that they really, they need more help. So maybe the secretary could be assigned for some extra roles in those. But yeah, I don't have like anything specific in mind, but just that you're kind of flexible and available, and yeah, pretty much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's it from
Okay.
Okay, any questions from the audience here in person? Well, if not, there are also no questions submitted from the people online. So that's all. Thank you, Nadina.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've heard from the secretaries, we heard from the sports committee, and now it's time to move to vice president, so the so-called right hand of the president. And let's see who goes first. Okay, it is Eva Demme. Please put your hands together.
Okay, so hi everybody. I apologize for my voice, but not everyone is immune to the winter weather. So let's start. Who even am I? So I'm Eva. I'm 19 years old, and I am from Jurmo. And please do not give me hate for it. I know that some kind of drama is happening about it right now, but I'm not involved in it. I am a friendly person, but sometimes if you get on my nerves, I can be quite mean. And even though half of the time I look like I'm having a resting face, that's not true. I'm actually friendly. For the last, I would say 4 months, I have been an associate of the Business and Events Committee and also a participant of the newly RGSL ambassadors. And fun fact, also I am a professional manicurist, which means that I do nails. And if this law degree doesn't turn out great, then I can always turn back to that. And another fun fact, in all of my life, I have had 8 hair colors. It's kind of crazy. And the hair colors are also crazy. And if you want to see, there's some pictures. Just for fun. So what is my motivation for even being here? Even though I have been here for only 4 months, I have seen some things that could use some improvements. For example, more communication between associates, between chairpersons, and basically details about every single thing. Next is I want to make the SA work fast and more efficient. I will give you an example. For example, deadlines for everything. Next is everybody knows that the student years, the university life are the years where you experience everything. And in my opinion, the SA is where you get to experience everything from A to Z. And the last two are new friends. Everybody also all the time says that university years are the years where you get your friends and they last for a lifetime. Well, I need them, I gotta say. And get contacts. Contacts gives you any opportunities that you would ever need in your life. So I need those. Next we turn to
my past experience. I gotta say, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I gotta say I have a lot of experience in this organizational field. I was a president for 3 years in a row at my last school, which was Jūrmalas State Gymnasium. I also am a two-time fund winner from Jaunatnes starptautisko programmu aģentūra, and for those who are international, it's like young people program, and they give you like a project, you give details about it, you can win the €1,000. So next is I have experience in detail in budget detailing, and we can connect it to the second one, which is interesting that we had a project, right, for the second one, and we needed to make a budget for €1,000 before we got the €1,000. So we need to like €50 to that, 100 for that, da 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 da. And if they liked it, then they would give us the €1,000, and I guess I did good 2 times. And I have 5 years experience in hospitality, or as other people say, customer service, which means I have seen pretty much everything, and I am ready for anything that comes my way. Next, you would ask, why me? Why would you vote for me? Well, I got 5 things to say to you. I have a new perspective from, I'm a new student here. I have been only here for 4 months, but I see things from a different perspective. I see things differently. I see what needs to be improved, what needs to be maybe taken away, or things like that. I am very helpful. Everybody that knows me usually tells me she will help everyone, anywhere, anytime, with anything, and she will do her best. As I previously mentioned, I have valuable past experience, in my opinion, and I hope so now in yours. I am a social butterfly, or more professionally, we would say I have good communication skills. And I also have many strategies how to reduce expenses. For example, on decorations, specifically, I know places where to get, let's say, a bunch of paper for a lot less money than, for example, Hobbyset here in Riga. And what are my goals? I have 6 main goals that I want to accomplish, hopefully, when I'm vice president. And first one is I want to make a friendship with the administration, because I know how valuable and crucial it is. Then I want to make some organizational changes within the SA. For example, as I previously mentioned, deadlines for everything, monthly meetings with us associates, then cooperations with schools. I want to cooperate more students to coming here and we going to them. Next is popularize RGSL more, which is through social media, also going to schools, and also participating in different kind of exhibits. Then it is cooperations with charities. I think this is an amazing idea, and my favorite idea is that we could have cooperations with animal shelters, for example, and we could go on walks with dogs. For example, I would take, a group of people, you guys, you would say, yes, let's go. We would go to, for example, Ulubele, and we would walk with dogs. It's a great bonding experience, and it's good for them, and it's good for us. And the last one, I want to upgrade the common room, or the one room that is with the microwaves in it. In my opinion, it's kind of not homely. I want to make it more cozy. And 2 things about it that is good is that it's a bonding experience with SSC that we need. And I have already talked with the administration, and they are here for it, and they want to help me with it. So that is me, and please vote for me, and maybe I'll let you meet Spider-Man, because, he's something big.
Thank you, Eva. And now it's time for questions from the current essay board.
The first question is going to be mine, and it's an imaginary scenario. So imagine that you got elected as vice president of the SA, and there is a really important event where the president has to make a speech, and it has been arranged beforehand that the president is the one who should do that, but it's 5 minutes until the event. He cannot be reached, he or she cannot be reached, and yeah, so what do you do?
I mean, it's 5 minutes still. I have 4 minutes until it's crucial, and I will call whoever is the next president. I will call, trying to get them here. If not, if I have their text, I will read it because it's my responsibility to. If the president isn't here, I will do their responsibilities.
Eva, thank you for your presentation. I really enjoyed it. And to start off, just a general question from my side, and it goes like, in your motivational statement, you noted your intention to address communication issues with the administration. You also mentioned that in your presentation. Could you specify the alleged issues currently affecting this communication and outline your precise plans for resolving them?
So, of course, I don't know how, like, altogether if the communication was good, bad, or in between. In my opinion, just from the outside of it, how much I have been in the SA, I think that the communication could have been better between the administration and how could I, amplify it. I would say, I don't know, 2 to 3 times monthly meetings with the administration where they could say what they want from us and they could hear what we want from them. So it's like a mutual decision, mutual communicationship and friendship.
Okay, thank you. And could you please name the 5 most recent vice presidents who have served on the SA board?
I don't know if I can name 5, but I can name last year Julia was. Yeah, the last 5, that's a lot. But I will look it up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Eva. My first question would be, how would you rate Letiti's performance as vice president, and what are some areas for improvements relating her work?
Okay, I would, as far as I have seen, I think she did an amazing job, in my opinion. The thing that I saw the most was about the budgeting things. For example, in the freak show, that after the freak show, the communication about how to get the money back, who paid for what, I think that is a problem that could be and should be addressed to make some kind of more efficient way how people can, either it's one person one associate who buys everything, so it's more clear who bought what and where and about how much money.
Okay. And my second question would be, how do you plan on upgrading the common room, taking in notice SA's limited budget, and what is your vision for that?
That's the thing. We don't need basically any money. Our plan, my plan, is to find sponsorships that could provide us with colors for the walls, some textiles for the couches so we can put it over and make it more beautiful. For the cleaning supplies, I think we could ask RGSL or SSC together. And that's, basically it. It's more about organization to make it more bigger.
Okay, thank you, Eva, for your presentation. You said in your presentation that in order to improve efficiency, you would impose deadlines.
Yep.
But how I see it, deadlines work only if you have some sort of, I don't want to say punishment, but some kind of sanctions for not keeping up with the deadline. Otherwise, it wouldn't be efficient. How would you see that, the deadlines working in real-life situations?
I mean, the easiest thing is if you don't meet deadlines, it doesn't happen.
So if you don't meet a deadline for one day, it doesn't happen at all?
Well, no, okay, let's not take a day, but a week is within a week. That's okay, but if we want to work more faster, more better, more efficiently, then we need to stick to the deadlines.
Okay, thank you. My other question is, since one of the duties of Vice President is to support each and every SA committee, how would you ensure that other board members don't step over the line by asking you to fulfill too many of their needs and duties?
I would ask them what would they need help from with me. and then I would say, you know, that I can do, that I can help for you, that I unfortunately cannot. I don't have the time right now because I need to help another committee. So everything is balanced out equally.
Okay, so question again from my side. It's going to be a bit longer, but bear with me. So imagine you are in a situation where the student association faces a sudden budgetary drawback. For example, a year ago, and this is a real-life situation that happened to us, we were hosting the Barbie party, and one of the intended decorations was fake grass, a substantial amount that could cover half a football stadium. When the 2 tons of grass arrived, it became evident that it was in a bad condition and could not be used for its intended purposes. Put yourself in this scenario where the cost for removing the grass amount to 2,000 euros. Now the grass lies on the university premises and should be removed as quickly as possible. How would you deal with this situation?
Okay, so firstly, I would get as many men, boys, as I could to, you know, tell them, take it down now. It doesn't belong here. We don't need it. At the same time, I would tell, I don't know, someone, for example, secretary, to call someone with a car, with a bus, you know, tell them, you need to get here right now with a car. We need to put the grass inside and get it away.
But it doesn't fit in a normal car or a bus.
Yeah, it's like 2 tons, and it's also all together, so you cannot really lift it because it's like from a stadium. It's all like a big chunk.
Oh, it's like a roll. Okay. So you need like a big bus.
Yeah. That's why it costs 2,000 euros.
Okay. Well, then, for example, like we see that in Riga right now, there's a lot of construction. So I think the easiest thing would be to, you know, run out and see which construction site has the big buses that could get it away.
Great, thank you.
Any more questions from the board?
I don't think so.
Questions from the audience? No? Okay. There are a few questions submitted online. The first one is as follows. Since you said that you want to implement new perspectives, what do you think the essay is lacking, and what do you think is more important, new perspectives or the ones of the students?
I think the perspective part, what I meant is that I have a different view of it. I have different, you know, I have a different perspective of how I see things. And I think that students are the, you know, the core of the student association. If we are thinking about, I don't know, of some kind of an event, we need to ask the students first if they would be open to it, if they would attend, and how much. There's no point of us making an event that we have no, you know, idea how much people would even attend.
And the second question is, do you think that you will be able to collaborate with the administration to represent the needs of the RGSL students concerning issues related to administrative nature?
Of course, why not? You know, there are many ways how I could respectfully say that to the administration if we have established a good communication and a friendship. And the first part would be, I would ask the students what you don't like, what would you want to be changed, what you want to take away, what you want to put in. And then when I have all gathered that, I would go to the administration and say that. So here are the facts from the students that they think are necessary to, you know, deal with them right now. And they would tell me the answer, yes or no.
Okay, yeah, but that's all. Thank you. And okay, so we have one more candidate for the vice president position. So put your hands together for Rudolf Riekstins.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Rudolf Riekstins. I'm the second-year student in law and diplomacy, and I'm a candidate for the vice president position. And so here are the contents of my presentation, and I will start about the short information about me. I previously studied in the Riga State Gymnasium number 2. I actively participated there with the events, helping my class with that. Of course, that was after the COVID because that was a real problem. And I've also participated actively with my study activities. So something more important. My experience in the RGSL. I'm right now participating in the VISMUT, that's International Commercial Arbitration, and with my great team, that's also me, isn't it? We are going to represent RGSL in Vienna at the end of the March. So my participation in the event come. I've also participated in the baptizing, Halloween party. That was particularly important for me because I really enjoyed it. With helping with the decorations, also some problem solving. I'm not talking about the water leakage, but also some problem solving in the middle of the party. And also simply just volunteering as a school representative when the administration approached me. For example, school 2023. I also was there in the Keepsala. Maybe some of you saw me. Also, when I gave most of the year one students your student IDs and gave tour around the RGSL premises. So yeah. So let's get to the point. These are my initiatives, strategy plan, I would say. The first thing is just generally making the education committee work, and I would really help with that. And that goes along with the alumni. Making more and more events with the alumni. I think it would be very interesting for us as students just to hear their experience, what paths they have chosen after graduating from RGSL, and at least I know that for me and other my fellow students it would be very interesting. The third thing is internships. I have talked also with the administration. I approached Eva Ratsnai, our director, and she said that she would help with this. Just get so us as students, we would get these like better options with internships from the school, so we don't have to go to our cv.lv ourselves, but it would be really provided by school, so we have this opportunity. And that goes along with the very strong collaboration with the administration, because to implement all of this, we would have to have a very good collaboration with them. And well, to make everything of this work, we should have very close cooperation among different committees, because, for example, about the alumni, we have to, so to make these events, we have to also reach out to the PR committee, so more people are coming. We also have to reach out to the event committee, so there are not very much flaws in the events, so they could give their view on that. So I would really take the mediator position, so I would make both of the ends meet. So yeah. My role in the position. As I mentioned also in the interview, maybe you saw on the SA profile, I would be the voice of the students at the administration and vice versa. So I just want to really bring everyone together. So these, I would say, three branches, that's the students, SA, and the administration. So we are all working together and with a good mechanism, and I think it's very important for us in our student lives. The second thing, of course, is the monitoring of the financial situation of the SA board. Also close cooperation with the president. That's the reason why I'm also running with Nicola, because I know that she's a very dedicated person, and yeah. So also, yeah, close cooperation with all of the committees. As I mentioned, it's very important. So we are a very great team, and I would very much enjoy new initiatives from students. So it's not that the SA is just another branch, but again, we are all together. So why you should vote for me? I think I'm a very dedicated person. I'm highly disciplined. So let's make our lives at the RGSL the best years of our lives. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rudolfs. One note before we start the Q&A. As for there are some questions submitted online, but if they do not have, indicated the name or the surname of the candidate, they won't be addressed. But that aside, it's time for the 10-minute Q&A, and we're going to start with the current SA board.
Let me start with a question. Let's imagine that you have been elected as the president of the SA board while Nicole wasn't elected, vice president of the SA board while Nicole was not elected as the president. Would you still pursue the role of the vice president, or you would call for the re-elections for your position?
I would still go as the vice president, of course. Yeah.
Okay, and another question relates to your presentation. You have mentioned about the internship event, which is also a traditional thing happening in RGSL usually. And I wanted to ask, what kind of companies would you want to kind of approach if you were to coordinate that event? Like name a couple of them would be the most important.
For internships, I think definitely some of the most popular law firms, for example, the PwC, Bitans, yeah, I don't know, just like really like the most popular law firms. That's one of them, but also just approaching not only the popular ones, but also some others that are really open for this. And as I previously mentioned, I've talked with Eva Ratsnaya, and she said she can help with the contacts, and that's very, of course, important because us as students, we have also mostly the contacts that we have through our parents or some previous experiences, and that's not very probably much. So yeah, and I think that's very important. So the administration would help in this regard.
Okay, hi Rudolf, thank you for your very great presentation, and I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked previous candidate Tieva. Could you please name 5 most recent vice presidents that have served on the SA board? At least 3, that would be great.
Okay, well, of course, you're right now. Before that, Julia, when Tereza was president, Julia was the vice president. Before that, Christopher Skalniņš-Liberis, when Reinis was president. And yeah, before that, Paula Kelly was the president, and the international student, Sima Murtuza,
Yes.
she was the vice president. And before that, I think Gaines Kapteins, he was the vice president. And also before that, yeah, also Edvards Pauls Indars, and he.
Okay,
you
we're
can-
going for 6.
Well, but you can meet him, yeah, in the open house.
Okay, thank you.
Have you contacted all of them before candidates?
I've contacted Edwards Pauls Indars, yeah.
Okay, and another question from my side. What influenced your decision to refrain from active participation in the campaigning process, considering that Year 1 students are not that familiar with you? How do you plan to bridge this gap and communicate your goals and main objectives as the potential vice president of the SA to ensure transparency and understanding among the student body?
So, long question. About the campaigning, I'm not really that person who likes to make these campaigns, but generally I think most of the Year 1s have seen my face, hopefully, because you should have, because you took the student IDs. But yeah, I hope that this presentation really like represented my initiatives, my goals, and what I want to achieve. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rudolf, for your presentation. Additionally to the responsibilities that are mentioned in the statutes regarding the vice president position, what are some other duties and responsibilities that the vice president is responsible for?
And as I previously mentioned, this is, I think, just to help all of the committees, really just to join things together, because if, for example, there are some communication problems, etc., I would be the person that's in the middle. I would really help. And yeah, statutes, they're very limited on the responsibilities of the vice president, and that's the reason why I'm saying that I would be the middle part of this, and also the voice of the students in the administration. That is very, very important.
Thank you.
Okay, and one last question from my side, very similar, no, the same as also to the previous candidate, Eva. But in your interview with one of our PR chair candidates, you stated your intention to address communication issues with administration. Could you also specify the alleged issues currently affecting this communication and outline your precise plans for resolving them?
First of all, I did not say that there are some problems right now, because I can't really say that because I'm not in the SA board. Yeah, but I think the reason why, for example, right now, I think maybe the communication, as I have just heard, is not very close, is because the initiatives that have been brought by some of the committees right now does not. There's no necessity just to make such close connection with the administration. For my initiatives, it is very important, and that's also the reason why I'm saying that we must have this close cooperation.
Great answer, thank you.
Thank you, Rudolf, for your presentation. I'm going to have the same question as I asked Eva. How would you rate Letiti's performance as vice president, and what are some areas for improvements relating her work?
I think 10 of 10, because like really, Letitia I think has done a very great job. She has been very dedicated for the position. So yeah, there's nothing I can really say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the audience?
I have a question. Rudolf, let's imagine that there was a Barbie party at RGSL and you have 2 tons of breasts, which how would you do this?
I think I would probably make, I have some connections with this, it could be removed. Of course, I would try to arrange guys to help removing it, but regarding the transportation, I would organize that.
Thank you. By the way, in the same word, tell us how it was in real life, because it's an interesting story. Sure.
Maybe when we have time for that. At the moment we don't. Sorry.
Okay. Any more questions from the audience here? Okay. Well, there are a few questions online. The first one is, due to your prior statements that there are, quote, better things to do, end of quote, than be in the SA board, what made you change your opinion so last minute?
It's not last minute. I have been in as I mentioned previously, I've participated in different things what the SA has organized, and that's also the reason why I'm right now doing that. I have, yeah, I don't really know more much to say. I really enjoyed my time helping with the SA, with the events, as I mentioned, also with the decorations, and yeah, just a great experience.
Okay, and there's one more question. What has been the biggest challenge in your RGSL experience up until now, and how did you handle it?
Sorry, can you please again just start that?
Yeah, what has been the biggest challenge in your RGSL experience up until now, and how did you handle it?
Introduction to politics. That has been my greatest problem, and the solution was re-exam, yeah.
Okay, well, if there are no more questions from the audience, it appears that there aren't, then I have to say thank you, Rudolf.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I think we know what is coming next. Perhaps maybe it's the cherry on the icing on the cake, and for the fun part, or the most views on YouTube will be coming in right now. Who knows? But it's time to spin the wheel and decide who of the 2 presidential candidates are going to go first. So the person is going to be Elisa, and then Nicola will follow. And put your hands together for the candidates.
All right, so hello everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for still listening, since I know it's getting pretty late. I want to start with the fact that who even am I? In my 19 years of life experience, I have already managed to try every single position there is in the customer service: waitress, bartender, bar back, hostess, everything. I also been a business secretary, I've been a travel manager, and for the last 2 years I've been an accounting assistant. The question I get the most is, why would you even vote for a first-year student? Well, my life motto has always been, if you never take the risk, how will you ever win? But nonetheless, I have incomparable past experience in all of those professions that I have knowledge in. I think that I truly have very valuable assets in the basically what the president position needs. I have new views and ideas, but I think that's pretty obvious since I'm pretty much new with the RGSL at all. And most of all, I do have free time. I'm willing to spend 5 days a week, every single week, to work on the essay goals, and just thrive on it. And I won't stop until everybody's happy, by the way. To gain a better understanding of my personality, I've made pros and cons list. First of all, I am known for my guidance. I make and give the best advice there ever is in every single life situation. Second of all, I'm a social butterfly. So everything that has something to do with new events, new people, cooperating with new organizations or businesses, that's all me. Third of all, and I think one of the most important ones, I am guaranteed to give you the superb cooperation with SEC. Due to my previous already existing friendship with the newly elected President Phillips, I do believe that there will be little to none conflicts between the two schools. Moving on, I am impeccable at problem solving. I think the picture speaks for itself. I also am an academic weapon. I have been named the valedictorian not once, but twice in my life. And the last school that I was a valedictorian at was the Riga State Second Gymnasium. And for those who don't know it, it's hard. It is very hard. And last but not least, I will push through anything. Even if I am not very satisfied with the process or the results, I will always finish exactly what I have started. But moving on to the cons, if I am being held at a gunpoint, I will still not make a single decent pancake. You can see that little sad guy over there. No. I have also dealt with so many incompetent customers in my life, and at least once a month, every single month, I swear to all my friends and family that I'll quit my job, but guess what? I never actually do that. And last but not least, I know this may sound controversial, but I do love the SSC students. I think that there is more than what meets the surface. Moving on, my participation in the Student Association. I have been here for only 4 months, but most of this time I have spent looking for sponsors, and I'd say about 70–80% were always positive answers. I have also been a very helpful hand to the event organization, and I still have a bruise on my hand from making those damn Halloween decorations. I am also a very active ambassador. I've been a huge help to the open house events, shadow weeks, and, well, whatever comes to mind. And one of the few things that I've also done is brainstorming new ideas. For example, the Christmas present hunting that has already happened and will again happen tomorrow is all my idea. The sponsors that I got for them and also for the coalition as a whole, always my job. And what are my goals even? First of all, I want for the Student Association to be more active, and I have the utmost respect for everybody in the current essay board. Nonetheless, I don't want there to be any silent weeks or silent months that, of course, this essay board is still working, but nothing much is being heard. I also want to improve the essay bookkeeping. I do think that there is not a very big meaning behind making a yearly budget if the expenses are not taken care well of. I also want to shine a whole new light on the occasional come and make the internship one happen. I do believe that communication is key, so I will continue to maintain an excellent communication with both the administration and the students. I am also willing to bring new merch to the RGSL, upgrade the existing hoodies to some more interesting designs, unique colors, embroidered designs, everything that. I also want to increase transparency. I want for the social media to be much more active for the students, and everybody who follows us also know what we are up to for every single day. Maybe not every single day, but you get the point. I want to be participating in charity in the SA. I think it is a great idea, for example, right now when the Christmas season is coming, for us to visit animal shelters, nursing homes, and bring joy not to only us and our students, but to every single person out there. And as the of them already mentioned, I do want to make the common room look better, because right now, my personal opinion, it looks much older than all of us combined. In case I still have not convinced you, I thought that the best version to show you my daily life was through my B-reels. So here you go. I have been partying, I have been dancing, working, and about the social butterfly effect. These are my customers, okay? They love me, I love them, and I do know how to bully the tips out of them. That is all. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Elisa. And now it's time for the questions from the current SA board.
Yeah, so I will open the Q&A by asking you the traditional question. As you might have already got a grasp on it, what were the last 5 presidents of the SA board?
Okay, you. But I do not want to sound in any way rude or anything, but I don't think it's really relevant for me, because I bring new ideas. I will continue working on the same goals that you have had in the last year, but for the past 4 years, I don't know how relevant it is to me.
Don't you think it would be kind of a big value, for example, to have connections with the previous presidents, even not for the essay purposes, but for example, most of them have worked in a lot of different interesting places, and they could be great fits for the alumni or internship events.
Of course. I have a very close relationship. I don't want to say relationship, so nobody interprets it that way, but my older sister's fiance has been the student president here a few years ago, Janis Eismans, if anybody knows him. So if I ever got into a very desperate position and I need advice, I can still always go to him. And through him, I think that I can also get contact information from the other years that were before or after him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Elise, for your presentation. As you mentioned about the record keeping and accounting, I agree it's very important to plan the budget, but it's also really important to contact the accountant in that matter. Do you know who is the RGSL accountant?
I don't want to spell her name correctly. I know it's Inga. It's Inga.
Yeah.
Ugana or Ugaina, something on that mat. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Elisa, for your great presentation. And also going back to your motivational statement, you state that within just 4 months of being an RGSL student and having spent less than 4 months as an associate with somewhat limited involvement in the business and event committees, you have learned the ins and outs of the student association. Could you tell us a bit about the ins and outs that you have learned about? Because I have served on the SA board for 3 whole years, and I'm not even sure that I have learned about all of the ins and outs of the SA.
Okay, so the ins and outs, I didn't necessarily mean that I know every single person's relationship with every single other person, but I have talked to you, Leah. I have a very close friendship with my relationship with my mentors, both Carmen and Nicola. I have been in the Backyard Olympics before they even started, and I know what a how necessary it is for there to be helpers. And through all these communications, through all these conversations, I have grasped the whole idea of what everybody is achieving, achieving that word. And I think that even though I don't know every single little detail, I know what you guys as a whole team are going after. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Elise. I have two questions. The first one would be considering the emphasis on leadership skills, can you share a specific example where you demonstrated effective leadership within the SA and how that experience has prepared you for the role of SA president?
Exactly within the SA.
Yes.
Okay, so, well, first of all, during my experience as a business associate, I think that I have been a very helpful hand to other associates as well, because I know a lot of the business associates, and I have had multiple conversations. I have had to give out advice to them because they kind of knew that I was successful. I don't want to sound very selfish or something, but I had already gotten a lot of positive answers, so I gave advice to my fellow teammates about it. Also, during the event, the popular Halloween event that ended very successfully, I was a great help there, and when some kind of problem surfaced, I did not want to run to some of the board members and just give more problems on top of the problems that you already had at that night. So I tried to kind of maintain a calm vibe, if that's the word that I'm going for. So I cannot name a single event when I have been the leader, but I do think that I'm a great teammate and that I have given a very valuable advice. Yes.
Okay, and then I have a follow-up question about the Halloween party.
Yeah.
There were some challenges, particularly with putting up the decoration an hour earlier than permitted from your side, and the emotional reaction and anxiety to water leakage, which seemed to cause some stress. So how do you reconcile these instances with your assertion of having excellent problem-solving skills, and what specific measures would you implement to handle similar situations more effectively in the future?
Okay, so first of all, the thing that I would do due to the decorations being maybe not as organized or a little later than wanted, I think that it would be very valuable to have a meeting in life with all of the chairpersons, associates, everyone, to exactly pinpoint at what time, who is doing what, and give the contact information to one another. So, for example, if I need somebody who is taking care of the RGSL lobby, I don't have to run to you and be like, who is responsible for that? So I think that that is a very valuable thing. And as due for the water leaks, well, I don't think it's it's pretty much out of control of anybody's hands. The most important thing that you could do is just stay calm, contact the necessary people, contact the security, tell everybody to leave, which is basically, I told Nicole was like, okay, we're shutting this off, which I think was the most appropriate decision for that time. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Another follow-up. You mentioned unnecessary people in this situation. You as a president, who would you contact?
Well, first of all, I would contact the security just to make sure that everybody is, well, it's taken care of, that everybody is leaving. And I think that it will be necessary for the administration to also know what's going on because, well, after all, it's their premises. And I think that I don't know the word in English, but simniety, so people, you know. Yes, that one.
What about administration? You would call like our director at 4 a.m. in the morning to inform her about the leakage?
I would send text message. I would not call. I just don't want there to be, for example, in the morning, for her to find out at like when she comes into school at 9 a.m. and she steps into a big messy puddle. I would send her text messages to keep her up with what's going on, but I don't think I would be rude enough to wake her up, and if she's not waking up, to go and knock on her door.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no, we still have questions. Okay, so question from our secretary Niklaus, and I quote him here, okay? Every year the new SA starts its work by establishing a good relationship with the administration, but sometimes the president has to stand up for decisions of the SA or what they think is best for the student body, even if it comes with the costs of ruffling some feathers. Are you ready to put the priorities of the SA and students if it would go against some of the administration's beliefs?
100% yes. As the student association president, my main responsibility is to be the voice of the students. And as to ruffling up some feathers, I think that if you maintain a constant and good communication with the administration, then there shouldn't be very unexpected reactions when something like this comes up. I think that if you maintain good communication on a daily basis, then there won't be any surprises because both sides know what's going on. Thank you.
Could you please briefly outline the main steps that the president has to do when he gets elected, he or she gets elected?
Okay, so meet with the old board, meet with the SSE board, brief budget of the year, choose and organize a photo session for the whole SA board, and I think those were the main ones at the very start of the year. Obviously, there are many more responsibilities, but yeah.
And the last question from the board is, it's no secret that sometimes cooperation with other board members can go not so smoothly. Like, you cannot expect that all of the board members, who are 9 people, will be great friends between each other and they will have an amazing relationship. So now imagine a scenario where you come to the essay room and there are a couple of board members sitting and gossiping or kind of saying not the best things about some other board member or board members. How would you react to that situation as a president?
I think I'll speak from my personality here. If I do hear such things happening, I would stop the conversation and just kindly remind everyone that first of all, we are adults here and our responsibilities are much more of a priority than hating on anybody else in the board. And if that situation occurs, I think that it's just necessarily for us to have a bond night. So I'll ask Martis to go and take us to the mini golf thing, or ask Yevdem to go and buy us some paint so we can paint all together and work out these shows.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, a little announcement. Bear with me, Elisa. So there will be. So we're gonna do for the presidents. So as it is the most, looked after position, we'll be doing as we did 10-minute Q&A. Like as it happened before with everyone, and we'll be also doing so for both candidates 3 questions from the the Google form. So it might last to 15 minutes. So yeah. Okay. So there were some questions submitted for you and also for the other candidate. There are plenty. Everyone's very interested what's happening. So the first question is there anyone you could effectively rely on to help in your duties as president?
I think that I would rely on truly anybody that gets elected. As much as I would rely on Eva, I would rely on Rudolf Suzel, as you are the new I don't know which one, but you are the new vice president, so if the students trust you, I do not find a single reason why I should not trust you as well. And as for the whole board, I think I can trust everybody as well. I truly do think that the people who will be newly elected to the board are all here for the same goals and for the same reasons. And, well, I hope I haven't been given anybody a reason to hate me yet in these 4 last months.
The next question is, as a first-year student yourself, do you think that there is any need for improvement in the communication style between the SA and the first-year students in real life and the official WhatsApp chat?
Okay, so for the official WhatsApp chat, I think no. It works perfectly fine. Yoli and Leticia always informs us of everything that's important that's going on. As to the SA board and the first-year students, I think it's no secret that this year the first years have been incredibly active, may I say. So I think that it is always a two-way street. If the first-year students want to know anything, that I am sure, and I am the I can prove that the SA board is willing to come and answer any questions.
Okay, and the last question, imagine you have to discontinue one of the board positions, committees, or committees. Which one would you choose and why?
Discontinue the...
Yeah, imagine if you have to discontinue one of the board positions / committees, which one would you choose and why?
I think that every single committee is important. I don't want to actually discontinue any of them. If there comes a point that that is needed, I think I would just go around the way and find a way to make all of them stay the same way, because nothing like the international committee helps the international students. Educational committee is the very core of why we are even here. The secretary is necessary because it's the secretary, right? If I get sick, I need a vice president. Without the sports committee, what else are we going to do with our free time? Without the events committee, there are no events. Without the business committee, we can't throw the events. So I cannot choose any committee that I would discontinue.
Do you think there is a position in the board that is needed to be established, on the other hand?
Like a bonus position?
Like another, like add one position, do we need it, and what kind of position would it be if we need it?
I was thinking, but I think it would be more of like a club, not a single-handed position. But I do think that it would be very, very nice of us to kind of have some people, some group of people who are taking care of the charity. I know that maybe the Christmas season is just hitting me very hard, but I think that it's a great way to bond with one another, to help people, to kind of also spread our name around, because if RGSL is helping everybody in Latvia, then obviously more people will be going to be like, okay, we can collaborate with them. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Elise.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, folks, so we have time for one more candidate, and so please put your hands together for Nikola Meko.
Okay, so hello all to you who are present and who are online. I am Nikola Melko. I am a second-year law and diplomacy student, and I am running for the president. So I would start with a little backstory of me regarding the SA part of my life. So with the old SA board, and I want to wish them a very good third year and succeeding in graduation. However, this has become my second family for life. And I really wish to incorporate this type of relationship within the SA board also in the next year. Obviously, when becoming a part of the SA, you gain new experiences, you gain new contacts, which is great, and I know that I'm going to use them moving forward. And I would want to say, if I get elected, but I don't want to jinx myself, so I'm going to say when I get elected, I will obviously use them firstly. So let's not dwell on the past and focus on the future, on why you should vote for me. So with experience comes accomplishments, and in my opinion, I have had a lot of them during my time as being the business chairperson. Obviously, business chairperson. So with that came leadership skills, and obviously, as Elise already mentioned in her presentation, the first years have been very active this year, and I'm very grateful for that because all of my associates this year were amazing. And I established some ground rules in our first meeting that I said we're going to work like this. We're going to do exactly that. For example, Toms is going to be in charge of some musicians, then Elisa is more on like the drinks, for example, food, whatever. So I really gained a passion for my leadership skill, and I developed that also moving forward. I have been a very active participant within the SA board. For the last year, I have attended the alumni event hosted by our education committee. I have spoken in open houses, also virtual open houses. Some of you attended that. What else? I have been like one of the top speakers, I think, for you first years when you came to the school. I was almost in every event hosted, whether it be by the administration or by the student association. I was there and I was speaking my mind and trying to help you navigate through your first weeks for that matter. I also attended the School de St. alongside Rudolfs and Richards. And I hope I met some of you. I'm not good with faces after that long of a while, but I hope I convinced someone to come and join RGSL. If not this year, then obviously next year. And sponsors, connections, new ways to develop RGSL, new ways to contact people, and I will dwell on that a little bit later. So when I was making this presentation, I wanted to include a quote. And this quote is by Maya Angelou: "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." And why this resonates with me. So when I became the business chairperson, I obviously set goals out for myself that I wanted to complete. And I think I did that very well. And I exceeded my own expectations when becoming this and when doing my job properly. So after this position, when the elections rolled around, I wanted to know what was next in store for me. So, in my opinion, obviously the presidential candidacy spoke to me. As for my aspirations, I really do want an inclusive student body. I think that is like the most sought out thing for us this year in the elections, that everybody wants to communicate with everyone. Everybody wants to communicate with the administration, with their fellow students, whether they be international or local. And obviously that is my aspiration as well, as that is the point of the SA. If not for students, if not for administration to come with their concerns, come with their praises for us, how can we build a very friendly and harmonious union within our school? Legacy and novel vision, obviously, as I am the second year and I've already been in the board as a chairperson, I do have some legacy and I do want to incorporate that within the new board. So set out some rules, some boundaries that we do have to follow in order to have a very respectful work within each other. And as for the novel vision, as many of the candidates are the first years, there are bound to be new ideas. And I'm very open to those, as new ideas make new events, new things. For example, the charity event, I love that. I love dogs, cats, whatever. I am willing to walk those dogs. I am willing to go to Ulubela and cuddle them, and whatever the first years deem to be needed. I think I can be a very great navigator in those and telling them whether that is okay, whether that is not okay, so we'll see. And education and merriment, obviously, as I think Elise said, that education is the reason why we are the SA board. And I completely agree with that. Obviously, we have had talks about the low participation, which is unfortunate, but from my last year, I gained a very valuable experience regarding educational events, and that was because of the Michael Grant seminar, which I hope some of you second years and first years know about. So he is from America, and he also was in law school, so he went through all of that. And I gained a lot of positive feedbacks and responses of that seminar. So he was very close in age to us, so I think the students can relate to him better, And in my personal opinion, as being a student and as talking to other students of this school, they express that when we have older people, so for example, let's say 60, 50 year olds that are professionals, obviously, we are not that keen to go to their lectures that are hosted as not mandatory. But when we have these newer people that we can relate to, they are the people that we want to listen to, and I completely agree with that. And obviously, merriment. If anybody doesn't know that word, that is basically joy. And I really do want to include that education is joy, and that's why we are all here, because we do love studying, we do love the school, and I really want to cherish that forever. As for my campaign, you can see Rudolf's there. Where are you? Hi. Okay. He's a very great person, and I wish him the best, whatever the outcome may be. As for my campaign, I contacted Red Bull and Jagermeister, and they are very keen to working with us, especially in the Red Bull scavenger hunt hosted every spring. I also contacted the basketball place, Beth, and they are very keen on giving us any type of tickets for any event that we host. So I think that's a great way to incorporate the sport activities as well. As for some events outside of school, so for example, the Sinners Club and Bar, I am a very in close contact with Mix Galvinauskas, who is the owner of these places, and he said, whenever you need, whatever you need, we are here, and I think that would be also a great place for team building. And obviously, one of the most positive sponsors of this year, Kosken Korva. I also already set out a set of events that are probably going to be hosted this year, and they said specifically which events they would attend and give their products to us, which is great. And in the corner you can see me during the barbecue party, and why I included this photo. As you can see, I have an RGSL hoodie on, so wherever I go, whatever I do, I am wearing proudly RGSL on my heart. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nicola, and we can start with the questions from the board.
Yep. I will ask you to name the last 5 presidents of the SA. You can skip myself, for that matter.
Skip yourself. Okay, so last year was Tereze. Then we had an alumni event where Hugo attended. He was the president, I don't know how many years ago. And the only reason why I know this person is because Alice from our administration posts with her on not only my RGSL but also on her private profile. Paula Kelly. Yeah. Those are the 3 that I know of because of like social media and that they have attended the school when I am studying here.
That will be enough for now.
Okay, thank you, Nicole, for your very great presentation and your speech and the motivational, the heartwarming last sentences about the RGSL. But my question to you is, as you already know, we are operating by the statutes that were established centuries ago. So, if elected as president of the Student Association Board, would you change these statutes that are currently in place, and why yes or why no?
Okay, thank you for this question. I believe that it should come as a decision within the board whether we do change them. I wouldn't necessarily say that we change all of them because there are some great points within the statutes that really need to be implemented on no matter what year the board is. And only one statute that I do not completely agree upon is that we have a meeting first thing the year the new SA board is elected, and we make a budget for the entire year. And why is I think that is impossible? Because things happen when the event comes around, and we do have to make some budgetary implications. For example, like buying more, so the cost is going to be more. So I think that is the only minus that I remember from the statute. But yeah, if the conversation about changing the statutes would come around, obviously talking to the fellow SA board members and obviously the administration on their viewpoints of it.
Okay, thank you.
Now the next question is also a technical one. Could you please name the name of the RGSL premises manager?
Imat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. You had a very nice presentation, and I have 3 questions. The first one would be, could you elaborate on any relevant experience or qualifications that make you stand out for the president's position?
I think one of the main things and the obvious one is that I am a senior, so-called, in this board because I'm running the second year, and I think that would be great as to navigating the new board. So I think that is like the main part that sets me apart from Elisa, and because we both have contacts, we both know people in certain industries, so I don't think we are compared any other way other than I'm a older woman in this establishment.
Okay, and in terms of student engagement, could you outline your vision that you believe would significantly contribute to the overall student experience in RGSL?
Okay, thank you. Yes, one of the things that I outlined in my presentation as well is really talking to professionals that are closer in age to us so we can relate to them more. From just my past experience that has worked for the students at RGSL. As regarding, I am a very active person myself, so I do really want the sports committee to succeed in every way possible, and I do want to make closer contact with the sportscom chief, whether that be any of the Reinis or whether that be Martis. I really do want to see their vision on what they deem needed for the sports side of the school. What else? Yeah, PR. I asked a question to Esther regarding our social media, so whether she would make some certain filter that we use for all of our posts, because I do myself not like our Instagram that much, but things are to be improved with new people, so obviously that is a great way to improve that. What else? Yeah, international students, so we cannot forget them because they are the things that make the school an international school. Obviously talk to them, and I have heard a lot of the negative sides on how they view the student associations work in the past, that they do want more communication with the student association and with them, which is understandable. They're in a new country, so I'm going to try to be the best person for them in order to help them navigate through Latvia, or whether they want to stay in Riga. That depends on their situation. But also a first-hand experience regarding the international students. So your first year, first day on the 28th of August, there was a lady that came up to me and asked me if I do know any accommodations. I think, Julia, was your grandmother, right? I think so, if I'm not mistaken. And she asked me to help out with this, and I obviously tried to find budgetary friendly things in this location, but as fellow Riga livers know, this is not a very budget friendly area. But I tried my best, and I hope you are not living on the street and everything is okay. Yes, okay, great. So yeah, that about sums it up. And when I get elected, new things will rise up. So we'll see what the challenges are for me.
Okay, thank you. And the last question from me is, would you encounter any challenges or concerns if your fellow candidate, Rudolfs, were not elected? And how do you envision maintaining a collaborative and supportive atmosphere within the team despite differing outcomes in the elections?
Thank you. I do appreciate Rudolf very much. However, if he would not become a part of the SA, that would not be the end of me. And I would still work in very close contact with Eva, and because I have already established somewhat of a wait-and-style relationship with her, so I already know not very thoroughly, but I do know how she works, so I think I should that I have a very strong person by my side if Rudolf is not there. And I think that is about it about that question.
Okay, Nicole. So the last question, I think, from the board side, and it's the same as it was to Elisa. Every year, the new SA starts its work by establishing a good relationship with the administration. But sometimes the president has to stand up for decisions of the SA or what they think is best for the student body. Even if it comes with the cost of ruffling some feathers, are you ready to put the priorities of the SA and the students if it would go against some of the administration's beliefs?
Okay, thank you, Letizia. Well, obviously, I think if you're being part of the SA, especially when you're in the president position, you do need to make those tough decisions on improving the student life. So, for example, if I do have many students, even from my board, so those are already 8 people that are not happy with something, obviously there is an issue, and then onwards I would speak to other students and see what is the core issue of this, and obviously go to the administration and tackle these challenges respectfully, obviously, not throwing you did that, you did this, but really respectfully going to them and trying to resolve this issue so both parties involved are very happy and so we don't strain our relationship with them moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, more questions from the audience?
I'd like to ask, approximately 3 years ago, me and my good friends Christopher and Marta, we developed this podcast of RGSL called The Chat Chamber. And in the first 1.5 years, the episodes were quite consistent, but now it sort of fell off. And my question is, what's your attitude towards a podcast of RGSL?
Yes, thank you to our fellow alumni. Regarding this podcast, last year I was in one episode, the only episode, by the way, in last year's studying, but I think I do want that type of podcast, as it is an educational podcast. So for those who don't know, we invite whether that be alumni, we invite professionals. I spoke to the rector last year, so I got some insight on his life and his viewpoints on the RGSL and his personal life regarding the legal field. So I also heard a lot of things about a podcast, and I think that is a great way to invite new people here to raise a word about RGSL. So if the students and the association is up for it, why not?
Any more questions from anyone here? Okay. All right, so the questions have been plenty submitted online, and the first one is, as member of the current SA board, do you think the questions asked to Jennifer yesterday truly aligned with RGSL values and had to be addressed in public?
Okay, thank you. Regarding the questions yesterday, I think the questions that were raised by us came with, how do you say it? Like, they came from a place of something. We didn't just come up with them on the spot because we wanted to do some ill intent to her. That came from a spot regarding our previous experiences with the exact candidate, and I think those questions were appropriate for the students to understand what type of person the candidate is. Whether that be another candidate, I think we would ask the very same questions. It doesn't matter, because we do want for people to know the candidate better, and for her to obviously talk with us about her viewpoints on that specific situation. As for the questions that was asked by the anonymous people, I think the questions that were raised not only for Jennifer but also for other candidates are very childish, and I do believe that in a school that is on the basis of legal standards, those were very inappropriate.
Okay, thank you. And so as we are over the 10-minute mark, and as it was with Ellie's, so we have to ask 3 more questions which were submitted. And the next one is, do you think the provocative nature of your adult dance performances publicly posted on your Instagram reflect the name of RGSL well, especially as president?
Thank you for this question. I wouldn't necessarily say that they are provocative, as I am covered fully, nothing can be seen, and yeah, I think they're not provocative. If I do want to dance, I think that is a great way to express myself, and I don't see any problem with that. I am not a stripper. I am very fully clothed when I dance, and I have a very appropriate attire when I do so.
Okay, the second question is as follows. Are you sure that you'd be sufficient enough candidate for the presidential position, considering your anger issues and bias against Jennifer?
Well, my anger issues against Jennifer are non-existent, as I do not want to dwell on the situation that happened within the SA board and this specific candidate, because I think that would shed bad light on not only her but also the SA. And as for my anger issues, I don't think I have those. I'm just a very opinionated person, and if something bad happens, especially to the people I am very close with, I'm obviously going to react and not keep my mouth closed. So, for example, if I am elected as the president, if something bad happens to the SA board where we hear a student talking very badly and for no reason about them, I will obviously speak up and be the first one to react.
Okay, and one last question. Does the fact that you are currently part of the SA board or currently in the election process create a conflict of interest concerning the fairness of elections, and then in brackets, for example, a situation where you already knows the questions that will be asked to you.
Okay, thank you. Regarding the conflict of interest, no, because we do have a separate Google Sheet for all of the candidates, and I do not know the questions that were asked to, for example, Rudolph's, as he is my presidential couple, so I do not know the questions asked to him, as I could go and tell him those, and I also do not know my questions. I think this question is raised almost every year when a candidate is running for the second year, but as for why I do know how to answer these questions is because I know the school and I know the system, so obviously I'm going to have more answers than candidates that are running for the first time.
Well, yeah, we're out of question time, so thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so we saw a lot of presentations yesterday and also today, so I want you all to put your hands together for all of the candidates who are participating. Yeah, before I forget, a few thank yous. One thank you goes to our fellow alumni Arnes, who provided us help with all the technical details, all the microphones, the YouTube live stream. So applause to him. And then, of course, a big thank you to second-year student Katrina for taking care of the technical side. And again, to the candidates from today and from yesterday, I want to say that SA really appreciates that you have the courage to take part, that you dare to put yourselves out there up for public scrutiny and some various questions, and you handled them very well, and your presentations were well, and they're going to get better as you practice more, and you were awesome. And you might have been nervous, but that is okay because you take part in something that truly matters, the student life of the RGSL, and you saw great presentations, and now everyone will have a good time to think and make vote until 11 a.m. tomorrow for the administrative positions and sports candidate. And yeah, what is being on the SA board? It's about teamwork. It's about courage to do something great for your fellow students because it's a whole year, and there might be some difficult times, but you have to persist and you have to stand up for yourself. Oh yeah, I'm out of time. Everyone wants to go home, and so we are wishing you the best of luck, regardless of if you get elected or not. Try, because you'll do great, and we want to remind you that your participation is one of the highest value, no matter who wins. And yeah, I think we're done. Yeah. Okay. And thank you to me. And then, okay, so results will be announced tomorrow, 12:45, at the Christmas event, the official event, where we'll also be having cake. So we encourage every candidate to turn up. Please do, regardless of what you might hear. And yeah, let's go home. Thank you.